Ladies and gentlemen, boy, do we have something in store for you all right now. Because, of course, we've been talking about AI and what is possible with it, and the risks, of course, it entails. And that shouldn't be a surprise, because it is, by far, the hottest topic by now. It offers many opportunities, it's not without risks, but it brings me to our next guest. I'm talking about a man who surprised the world when he appeared on America's Got Talent, and he demonstrated a very creative way of what exactly AI is capable of. I'm talking about a man from Paal, Limburg, but the world knows him as Chris Umé.
Hello everyone, and I would like to thank Proximus for inviting me here today. This is for sure the most beautiful stage I have ever been on. I myself come from a very small village in Limburg named Paal, and I have always believed that if you really want something, you can always make your dreams come true. The world is very big, and there is nothing or no one who can stop you. And it's very cliche, but it's true, because I tried it. And I still have a very long way to go, but I believe I can do it, and I'll never give up. There are excellent educational programs in Belgium, and combined with everything you can teach yourself on the internet, there are no limits. Because every week, new stuff is coming out, and the only way you can get in contact with these things is by going on the internet, going on these repositories, educate yourself, because it goes so quickly. But let's start with one question. Can AI win a talent show? That's the question we asked ourselves 1.5 years ago. ChatGPT told me AI has the potential to win a talent competition, but the outcome depends on the specific criteria and subjective judgment of the competition.
What is your talent?
Our company is called Metaphysic, and we use artificial intelligence to create hyper-real content.
What we're doing here at AGT is the most advanced AI content creation the world's ever seen.
I cannot even imagine the amount of work to be able to create something so perfect.
Don't you love the fact that, talent could be anything, and you guys are pure talent?
You have 4 yeses.
The audition was great. The way Simon reacted was amazing. Like, he's a part of the act. For me personally, that's why I do it. I want to make people smile.
Here's Metaphysic.
So compared to the audition, we're upping the level. We've been working on this for weeks and weeks, nights and nights, because we really want to get to the grand final.
This is not the best act of the night. This is the best act of the series so far.
America has voted. The first act going into the finals is Metaphysic!
Can we talk about how good I was? It was also great to see the King of Pop again, and also Elvis.
This is the most incredible original act we've ever had in any final. You're going to have your own show on Vegas.
Finishing in 4th place and leaving the competition is Metaphysic! What has been on
So, almost. So, AI came very close. AI made Simon Cowell and the AGT judges do things and to show them a younger version of themselves doing things they never imagined was possible. And they really like that if you do that. If you put Simon on stage, it helps when he's a judge. He likes that. It also demonstrated a very interesting concept where we could bring back idols to life, like a very young Elvis Presley. But of course, and I have to keep repeating that, it wasn't just AI that made this happen. It was a lot of human creativity involved in creating this. Because what makes Simon Cowell Simon Cowell? That's the question. Is it the shape of his face? Is it the way he laughs? Is it the distance in between his eyes? Is a combination of all these different things that make him unique as a person. Because we've made over 100 digital twins of Simon Cowell, and it was always something, like it could be his cousin, it could be something that is someone that looks alike, but it's not him. And it's very difficult to define why is that. AI technology is very powerful, but like I said, there are a million ways to drive these computer models, and each result is different. Backstage, I was talking with one of the colleagues here, like, you could have the same data, like Simon Cowell in this case, you could have the same Simon Cowell data, and it's the way you nurture this data, the way you train these models based on the same data, you could have 1,000 of different results. So it's all dependent on how you work with the data, is the most important. If you go,
you ain't nothing but a hound dog, yeah. Watching all the time. Why you ain't never gonna let you wake your friend.
Our company is called Metaphysic, and we use artificial intelligence to create hyperreal content.
This is the best act, I believe, of the series.
This is how I looked 30 years ago. He can even remove my mustache.
So wake me up when it's all over. You're watching sin, que you're watching sin. Todo este tiempo tratando de encontrarme yo está perdido. I'm gonna show you some magic.
On this throne, I'm ready for their stone. I'll dance, dance, dance with my hands, hands, hands above my head, 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 like Jesus said.
This is serious breaking news. It's all real.
So, my name is Chris Umé. I'm one of the co-founders of Metaphysic. It's a company where we focus on building software that enables production of photorealistic content through AI technology. 2.5 years ago, I started the company together with Tom and my brother, Kevin. And before that, I worked 5 or 6 years for VTM and Q Music. And I've also had a passage of 1.5 years working for Matt and Trey at South Park Studios at the AI department. Now, while I was at South Park, I had something going on the side, and together with an actor called Miles, I did this very small thing named Deep Tom Cruise. And for who doesn't know what Deep Tom Cruise is, this is him.
What's up, TikTok? You guys cool if I play some sports? I love it. More for the audio experience. As much as the momentum. Hey, listen up, sports and TikTok fans. If you like what you're seeing, just wait till what's coming next.
So, on a certain day, Miles contacted me. I've worked with him before. And he told me, like, hey, Chris, do you want to do something fun? Let's put Tom Cruise in my garden, because he already looks like him a bit. And let's just make a funny video. So, we did that. We made that one funny video. And without me knowing, he created this TikTok channel named Deep Tom Cruise, and he put this video online. And something happened that I've never experienced before. We went viral, gaining about a few 100,000 views in one day, and a few 100,000 followers and a few million views. That was it. It was quite a moment to take in as a creative, like, that's the essence, that's why I do it. I just want to make people smile. All the other stuff, that comes later. That's not as important for me. But of course, it was also very important to realize how powerful this technology is and how you handle it. Miles is a professional actor. He looks like Tom Cruise. I'm a VFX artist, I'm an AI artist. You have to imagine, like, this is a small Hollywood studio creating these things. So it's very important that we communicated that as well to people, because otherwise, like, it's the end of the world. It's very easy to make this. Everyone can do this. It's not as simple. There's a lot of effort and expertise that goes into these videos. Now, when I started making these videos with Miles, I think it's very important to and I always show this video because I always want to show people why we did it.
Seeing him find joy
This is one of the
in
first
everyday
conversations.
experiences that the rest of us experience because we're normal is such a great content space. And so it's like can you just imagine Tom Cruise just low-key sitting at a table, whatever. And obviously we have the outfits, but we totally downplay it. And he's just like, whoa, like there's a Tootsie Roll in the middle of this lollipop. Like, why did nobody ever, like, this is incredible.
I like where you're going. Like, we have to keep, like, if he's ever going to see it, we have to make sure we never offend him. And I like that. I like the silly jokes and the thing you're telling. Like, he's so out of touch with especially with TikTok. He doesn't feel it at all. Like with the golf.
So first of all, my apologies for my probably even worse English than I have right now. I think it's got a bit better. But I just want to make clear that for us, me and Miles is also one of the co-founders of my company, by the way, it was a creative project where we wanted to make people smile. We wanted to raise awareness, like to show everyone in the world, like, think twice when you see something, because in the future, it's not going to be as easy. If something doesn't make sense, it's probably not true. Check your sources, where it's coming from. Like, Twitter has been fake news for years, but now we have video. It makes it even more difficult. So that's one of the reasons. And I also just wanted to learn how to create these things, how to get better. What we did not realize at that specific time is that we somehow had caused some kind of revolution. We had shown the world that photorealistic content was possible. It was almost unrecognizable from the real thing. And that brings me to the next point. And that's because we managed to bridge the uncanny valley. In the past, we've seen various films, for example, where actors were made younger and through CGI and visual effects. And it always looks pretty good, but you can always still see it's not a human. It's not real. That's the big difference. Getting to that 90%, that's one thing. But the last 10% to bridge that uncanny valley, that's the most hard. And I've got a few examples of movies we've had in the past where they're using different technologies, and let's go over them. So this is fully 3D, Tarkin and Rogue One by ILM. It's fully 3D. And then if we go to the next one, we got de-aging in The Irishman by ILM. And this is an important one. I'm going to come back to this one. But you have to know, these actors are on set, and afterwards, in post-production, that's when they're being de-aged. And also, the de-aging looks great, but you can still tell it's not real. And then we got de-aging in Gemini Man. I hope I pronounced that correctly. But you can see Will Smith has to have a lot of trackers on his face, and he has this camera, and it's a team of 100 people working on this to make an artificial 3D version of Will Smith which looks younger, which still isn't perfect in my opinion. So then we come to the next thing. So this is a movie me and my company have been working on for about a year right now. We didn't care about being fourth at America's Got Talent, because the day we got fourth, right before we went on stage, we heard like, we're going to make this movie. So we're like, great. Don't care which place we're going to be, as long as it's not 10 or 11, then it's fine. So what we did in this movie, we did our work. I'm not sure when it's going to get released, maybe somewhere next year, early next year, middle of next year. We de-aged Tom Hanks, Robin Wright, Paul Bettany, and Kelly Riley. And the director was Robert Zemeckis. And the big difference, what we've done here compared to The Irishman, are two things. One, the technology itself. It looks realistic. If you look at Tom Hanks in the movie, like you could see, like, this is a young guy. Like, it's not fake, it's not artificial, it's not 3D. It looks real. And the second thing, what we did in this movie was we built some kind of magic mirror. So all the actors in this movie had some type of magic mirror where they could just look at themselves, and Tom Hanks was standing in front of the mirror and he could see himself younger when he was looking in the mirror. And why this is useful is he could practice his acting. And for example, when Tom Hanks smiles now, your facial features change. So when he smiles, when he's older, and he looks at the younger self, he's like, it looks like my younger self, but this is not how I did it when I was young. So he could teach himself how to act in a way that his younger version would look exactly as how he did when he was young. So on set, we also did this live, so they had some time to practice in front of a magic mirror. But on set, they also had this. So after every scene, he goes, check the monitor, like, how did I do it? It was very interesting to see. It's the first time this has ever been used in a production like this, but very interesting to see. Next, this is something I have to tell everyone to go check this. This is a digital concert of ABBA that you can now go see in London. It's fully 3D, where you're in some kind of room. You see a stage in front of you, like it's with some kind of LED or hologram, and it all looks super real. And then you got these big screens moving around, and the lights in the whole room, they're all connected with all these screens. And when you sit there, it feels like you're watching the ABBA when they were young, and it feels quite real. There's only one thing. It's all 3D. It's very, very good, but it's still all 3D.
So when you're near me, darling, can't you hear me? SOS. When you're gone, how can I even try to go on?
I think it's incredible what they've created here. I would recommend everyone to go watch it. And also an important contributor to this fantastic project is another fellow Belgian. He now also works at Metaphysic. It's Joe Plata. He's a Chief Innovation Creative Officer at our company. And ABBA Voyage is a fantastic project. The creators of this project are pioneers, that's clear. But what if we take it a step further? For example, Elvis in Concert 2024. Well, I could tell you it's not going to happen because it's rather quickly. But what if we do that Elvis in Concert while we're using AI? What if we brought back Elvis just like we did for AGT, but then better? Imagine. Elvis enters the stage and performs his first song that he's ever created, his first hit. He's like 18 years old. Then we go to the next song, and you have to imagine it all looks photoreal, right? Like you see him standing there, you have these close-ups, it's all super real. In the next song, he's a bit older, like you can just see him age up while you're watching him. He's older, and his voice also changes a bit. And before we go to the next song, you got this scene where he's sitting with his wife, and you see a scene that may have defined his life. So instead of a song, now you see something happening on stage which caused Elvis to take a certain turn in his life. So instead of going to a concert of Elvis, we're going to this concert biopic mixture. So you see his whole life passing by in front of you, and it all feels real. It's like a total different experience, something we've never experienced before. And I never had the chance to see Elvis, so I think it would be great. Then we go to the next thing, use cases for AI. This is my favorite one, by the way. AI, oh, I was too quick, I still had to read my text. AI can be used in many, many ways, of course. And I'm not just here to show you what's possible right now. I want to show you where it could go to, like what are the possibilities? And that's when you can start brainstorming, like what could it mean for us? What could it mean in our life? I myself, I live in Bangkok, and I fly to Belgium every few months to see my grandparents. Imagine if we could create some kind of contact lens where, with the help of AI and augmented reality, we could come closer to each other without physically being next to each other. So what if I told my grandparents in the morning, like, let's have breakfast together today. And I go sit on my table in Bangkok, and they're in Belgium, and we're having breakfast together. And that would be nice, because it all feels super real, and we could talk. And the interesting thing about this is, it's all stored in the cloud. So years later, 20, 30 years, maybe my grandparents are not here anymore. I could walk through that memory, and I could take my children, I could show them, like, this is how I communicated with my grandparents, this is who they were. And I could show them how I remember them. And that's interesting to think about. I'm not saying we should do it, but it's interesting to think about. Then we go to next, localization. I'm going very quick. What I think is so interesting about localization, because we all saw those apps the last couple of months where you could translate a video to whatever language you wanted. And I find it interesting because it's like bridging the language barrier. And we cannot do this live yet, but we're not far from it. Just imagine you're having a business meeting with a company from the other side of the world, and you could just speak your local native language, and it all gets translated automatically. It could open up a lot of new markets. Another interesting use case, I think, is where we could, for example, a teacher could be in many classrooms. Currently, the best teachers in the world are sitting at Harvard, where they get the most money. But what if we could translate those digital lessons, and then in the smallest country in Africa, we could localize those lessons, and now people in Africa, in that small country, I'm just saying something, now they have the possibility to have the same level of education like the people at Harvard, just by using AI. I think that's amazing. Let's look at one example before I go to the next.
Hi, my name's Tom Graham. I'm creating this video for the purpose of creating a realistic AI representation of myself. Bonjour, je suis Tom Graham. J'ai créé cette vidéo pour une représentation réaliste de mon IA personnel. Konnichiwa, watashi wa Tom Graham desu. AI 表現を作成するためにこのビデオを作成しています。Ce sera un avatar d'IA qui me...
Okay, I want to go one time quick. Okay, so here's something that we did. We just translated Tom, our CEO, and we made him speak a few languages. Now, there's another interesting use case while using AI voices, for example. What I find interesting about AI voices, if I would lose my voice today, by the use of AI, we could get my voice back, or we could give people their voice back. It's the same thing with artists. When artists get older, they might lose a possibility to hit a certain note, the note that they were possible to achieve when they were younger. Well, by using AI, we can help it a bit. We can give them the tools to be creative with AI. Or maybe Clouseau, it's my favorite Belgian artist. They could start translating their music to different languages. And now suddenly, instead of like having small Belgium, now suddenly their whole market is the whole world. And I have an example of that.
fine by me. So wake me up when it's all over. You're watching sin, que you're watching sin. Todo este tiempo tratando de encontrarme yo. Está perdido.
Pretty nerdy stuff. Serious nerds. But nice.
That wasn't meant to be in there. Anyway, now we're coming to the last part. You're almost done with me. That's talent, AI models, and digital ownership. I think that's very important. We're conducting research into the ownership of digital likeness for talent and productions. This means that you own yourself, you own your own likeness in this or digital identity, because we're moving towards a world where we got like a digital second life. Because at a certain point, someone will be able to regenerate myself, for example, and they could say that they're Chris. And I think it's very important to think about that because it's happening. It's going to happen, and we have to start thinking about how we can protect ourselves. How do you own yourself? How do you make sure no one uses your identity? So, something we're doing with my company as well, but I'm sure other companies are doing it as well, giving you the possibility to copyright your own synthetic likeness and fight non-consensual abuse. With advancements in technology, it's now possible to legally copyright your digital image. This offers a robust defense against unauthorized or non-consensual usage, providing a legal framework to protect your digital identity. There are also other use cases for this, like it's not only to protect yourself, but you could also license your digital likeness, which is interesting. Like beyond protection, there is an opportunity to monetize your digital likeness. This not, it's a lot of text. This not only offers control, but also opens up a new avenue for revenue generation from your digital persona. Nike could launch a campaign and they want me to be the face, so now I license my digital likeness to them, and now they could use it for a certain campaign. And here's a good example of how it could be used in games. Imagine seamlessly integrating your own photorealistic face into games like FIFA, transforming them into ultra-realistic experiences. This is a pretty old video, but you could see it happening. And if you think about this, picture a game like World of Warcraft, and I'm not sure anyone in this audience knows it, but with the realness and detail of a digital second life. It's just not playing a game, it's like stepping into an alternate lifelike reality. I think that's where we're going to. And that's it. Thank you.
Every now and then I like to treat myself. And it's good because discipline... Oh my God. I think there's bubblegum inside this. That's incredible. How come nobody ever told me there's bubblegum? Incredible. Oh yeah.
Proximus next. Think possible.